Hey everybody, Claire here, and today I am with my dear friend, Yayo.
Hi.
And you probably don't recognize him because he is always on the other side of the camera.
Why is the camera pointing this way?
I know.
Usually just like...
Yayo is an amazing photographer. We've been friends for years and years and years. And he's also one of my main DPs for all of my commercial work. And I thought it'd be really fun to, pick your brain and kind of talk about how to become an instantly better photographer, especially in the age of the iPhone where everyone's taking photos constantly and posting to Instagram. And there's these little baby things you can do that will immediately make it look better.
Like, it's amazing what these guys can do nowadays.
Yep.
But the key is light. Most people think that photography is about like, do I have the latest camera and do I have like the best lens, and you go online and you read all these reviews. When it comes to photography, a 2016 camera and a 1985 camera have nothing to do with whether you have good light or not.
Exactly.
That's what will make or break your photo.
Yeah.
And thankfully, again, the iPhone is so advanced now that you don't have to worry about like autofocus or resolution, like all that weird technical stuff. You just press the button and you're done.
It's solved.
But you have to help it by feeding it good light.
Yeah. So what would you say is good light and what would you say is bad light? Like, how do you differentiate the two?
It depends on what you're shooting. Soft, indirect light is always your safest bet. Yes. This is a great example right now.
It's a cloudy day and it is like 2 p.m.
Yeah.
So that's the perfect time to shoot.
So anytime you're shooting with reflected light or indirect light, it's automatically going to have this nice soft quality to it. And that's safe for people, for food, for flowers, for pets. You really can't go wrong. The other thing that people don't talk a lot or don't think a lot about is the negative.
When we talk about negative, that's referring to the shadow. And so that's on
This
side. And then the highlight is, or the fill, is on this side. So fill refers to any light that's kind of filling in the shadows. Fill is really boring, but hot light or direct light is really harsh. And then nighttime light is just a no-go. So I think let's bring it into real world then in terms of light. So when are people shooting? So I'm gonna assume if all of you guys kind of are into lifestyle stuff, you're gonna be shooting either looks like outfit of the day or your favorite food or something like that. Or maybe it's a blog post and you're trying to shoot something cute for your blog. You're gonna be shooting basically in an indoor-outdoor environment. So when you're shooting outside, make sure it's a overcast day or the sun is lower in the sky. And then when you're shooting at a restaurant, here's the thing is I'm really fussy about this. I would say a good rule of thumb is also know when to not shoot. Sometimes you're just not gonna get the photo you want, right? You can't. And that's because for me, if I'm shooting in a low light situation, I just know for a fact it's not gonna work because there's a few things happening at once. One is the fact that the light's not good, meaning we don't have a lot of it. And the other problem is when you have other lights on. So for instance, if the overhead lights in your house are on, or there's a lamp over there, something like that, that's gonna cast a different colored light, right?
Yes.
So the darker it gets, the more that type of light plays.
So sometimes light, especially artificial light, is not your friend.
A good rule of thumb is to also go as close to a window as possible. Because if you're close to a window, it means that you're not gonna really notice any of those other lights very much. And you always wanna shoot with indirect soft light because it will always look pretty kind of no matter what. So now let's get into kind of I guess I'd say composition or even shooting style. I guess what for you is an indicator of oh, this person doesn't really know what they're doing versus, oh, this is someone who kind of at the very least has an eye.
Distance between the camera and the subject. I don't know if you've ever seen behind the scenes videos of a set or a fashion shoot. There's always a ton of distance between the camera and the subject. The iPhone lens is primarily designed for you to capture about the same field of view as your eye. So right now in real life with my eyes, I can see the ceiling and I can see the floor. So I would consider it to be a wide angle lens. So when you take a wide angle lens and you bring it up close to someone, it's like you take a time machine and then you're suddenly in a 90s skater video. Sometimes, you take a photo, and then other times you have to stay back and you take another one and you go, oh, how come my face looks better and my cheekbones look more attractive?
I look thinner.
Exactly, because when you bring that up to a person, it warps in them a little bit. Not enough for you to immediately go, oh God, no, but enough to where when you go and post a photo,
Yep.
you're like, oh, that doesn't look great.
And then I'd say on top of distance, the other one is angle.
Angle, correct.
Yes. Ladies love Yayo for this exact reason. Like, I feel like this is how you get like most of your dates probably, is you know how to take a good photo of a woman.
You take somebody's eye line
Mm-hmm.
and you meet that eye line, first of all, that you have to be there.
At least.
Because I feel like everybody knows that you never take a photo from down here.
Some guys haven't figured that out yet.
So at the very, very least, start there. What I always do is that plus about 3 inches or like maybe 10 degrees higher. Any higher than that, you start getting into like MySpace selfie territory.
Which is like actually not even a reference for a lot of the viewers anymore.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
We're
everyone.
so old. You know, it's like the selfie stick height. It's that kind of height.
There we go. Yeah, selfie stick height.
Which which looks cheesy, right?
Yeah.
So if you want, I feel like when people want to take social media photos, like for instance, my social media feed, like my Instagram feed, 99% of those, unless it's like up on the blog today and it's obviously a photo from the blog, everything else I shoot on my phone. I don't shoot that on a DSLR and then upload it. I shoot it on my phone. And the way you get things to look sophisticated in like portraiture or like something that, you know, an actual photographer took instead of just a personal snapshot, it really does come down to angle. I would say a good rule of thumb if you're shooting objects is if the light's good, an overhead is always gonna look pretty good.
What's also very practical and nice about the overhead is that you don't have to worry about the rest of the scene.
Yes.
You work with this like 1 foot area, and then if there's like
a
mess around or like a fire over there or like a deer walking through your living room, you're like, hold on deer, I'm just gonna like do this and then be done with it. There's a lot less that you need to control.
It's very controllable.
Instead of trying to come down here.
If you don't want to do an overhead shot, if you have something that has a lot of texture or it's not very, I guess I'd say geometrically interesting, like it's not interesting from a design perspective, so an overhead maybe isn't the best way to show it, you want to do a side angle. But side angle on an object is different than side angle with a person.
Correct.
So with a person, you go to the eye line and slightly above. Mm-hmm. On an object,
you go straight at it.
If you go a little lower and up, it gives this really heroic kind of like, like kind of look of something.
Yeah.
But by and large, you want to go straight on.
The other great thing that's great about the iPhones is the resolution that it takes, like how big the actual photo is. Because when you take a photo on the iPhone, it looks like it fills this frame, but if you were to download it on your computer, or the very fact that you can zoom in on the photo means that the actual photo that's being taken is actually bigger than just this. So keeping the don't get too close to objects rule, if you want to do that straight shot and you find that like, oh wait, once I get back far enough, I start seeing things that I don't want in my photo. Yeah. That's fine. Take the photo and then crop it in. Be comfortable with like cropping, because thankfully it's just all the megapixels ever nowadays.
Well, and that's the perfect segue into post-production. So we've established talking about light, we've talked a little bit about angles and composition, and now post-production. So there's like 3 apps that I think are really great. One is VSCO, VSCO. So if you ever see photography on Instagram and you're like, oh my God, it's so beautiful and soulful and like, it looks like Kinfolk. You know, if you ever wonder why it looks like Kinfolk magazine, it's because it's VSCO. What's really cool about that company is they use vintage film emulsions and have digitized them. So you're able to give your photos, your digital photos, a really filmic look that doesn't feel like Instagram.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's not like yellow and like fuzzy looking.
No, it's subtle, and it's because it's based off of real film.
And my favorite part about VSCO is the fact that inside the app, you can really fine tune things that most other apps don't let you do. I have to be honest, like I love that app so much that it actually makes me really cranky that they don't have like an app for a computer. Take my money. Like,
VSCO, we love you. If you're watching this,
take my money.
Sure, take my money.
Why won't you do that? Other ones that are good, like Afterlight's pretty good. Like they have, I'd say the look is like a little more of that old school Instagram vibe. So it's a little like gauzier. They have like different like filter layers and fun stuff like that. But
they're trying to emulate Polaroids.
Yeah, exactly. It's like Polaroids. Soft, it's very vintage looking. He's so sleepy.
This is the happiest puppy I've ever met.
Oh, and the other app that I really love is called Looksy. And I actually developed a few different filters with Looksy based off of the type of looks that I do for my food photography. So if you go on Looksy, you can actually buy filters designed by some of your favorite photographers from Instagram, which is pretty cool. So if you like the look of their work, you can really easily apply that to your work as well. So there's some really great apps out there. And I think then talking less about the specific apps, but just more like theories and concepts when you're approaching your photos. First off, I'd say take way too many.
I think I can fit 5,000 photos in here before I have to like,
dude,
I'm out of space or whatever.
Do you want to hear how many photos I have on my phone? It's disgusting. I have 16,000.
There you go.
16,000 photos. When I shoot food for Instagram, it's kind of, I take like usually about 50 photos per subject. Think to yourself, is this working? Like, is it working? If it's not working, cut your losses. You know, like just don't worry about it. Shoot it again, shoot it later, do it another time. Like,
no, being good at photos doesn't mean that you hit it on the nail every single time.
Oh God, no. It means that you recognize the difference between a good photo and a bad photo, and you only present the good ones. So don't ever put pressure on yourself to put out something that isn't great.
You want to give the photo a certain quality, and you want to set it apart from normal life, but you're still shooting normal life. When
you're first starting out with photography, and both of us, like neither of us went to school for it, we really both kind of started just with a camera in hand. And for us, like we both approached it from this place of like taking some photos. Does it work? No. Why doesn't it work?
Right.
You know, Yayo's amazing where he'll actually like on a Sunday be like casually sitting with like these giant textbooks about light theory and like studying like lens emulsions and like the science of lenses.
I'm wearing contacts, but I'm secretly a nerd.
Oh my God, he's such a nerd.
That's what's so exciting about, to date myself once more.
Oh man.
Digital.
So old.
Like it used to be so expensive for you to just like try it out, you know?
Oh
like,
my gosh.
Like you would never hear someone say, just grab your camera and like
see what
shoot
works.
a bunch. Like no, your dad would yell at you. He's like, I'm not developing all this film. Are you crazy?
Oh, exactly. Yeah. Developing the film, the cost of the film itself, like oh my gosh, all of it costs money. And now it's like everyone has a movie studio inside their pocket. It's insane.
Yeah.
You know, and the stuff you can do with it is fabulous. You just have to kind of know what works and what doesn't and keep practicing. This was so much fun.
Yeah, thank you.
Of course. Oh my gosh. Well, thanks for coming on and lending your expertise.
Yeah, I'm excited for what everyone's going to do.
I know. Please write below, comment below, and also tag us. He's What's a Yayo. Follow him and tag us on your photos if you try any of these techniques. We'd love to see what you guys shoot. And if you guys have any questions too, please obviously reach out. Also, please comment below. Are there any other sort of production questions or photography or digital questions you'd like to ask Yayo? Because he's been at this for a while, because as we established, he's very old, because he references MySpace. So
if you want to know what the secret to looking this young is, comment below.
Thank you so much, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.